10 small mistakes people make when using AI that can quietly compromise your data and give attackers a head start. When you use AI, have you ever stopped to think about what information you're typing and how small bits of it can add up over time and end up working against you? Because most problems with AI don't happen all at once, and they don't usually start with hackers. They start with habits, not because you're careless, not because you're doing something wrong, but because AI feels safe, friendly, helpful. And that's exactly why, in this episode, we're going to look at how small habits matter by starting with the first 3 mistakes. In the next 2 episodes, we'll continue with the rest of the 10. Let's start with the first one. It's the most common and the easiest to miss. Mistake number 1. Pasting sensitive information into AI tools. Passwords, API keys, private documents, client or customer data, student information, internal work details. Most people do it for a simple reason. They want help faster, and in the moment it feels harmless. But once sensitive information is shared, control becomes complicated, even if your intention is good, even if you trust the tool, even if you plan to delete it later. Here's the takeaway. Artificial intelligence is not a safe place to store secrets. Oh, one quick thing. I should explain that. An API key is like a digital password. That lets software talk to other software. It allows apps to connect, send requests, and get responses. And if someone gets access to it, they can act as if they were you. So what's the better practice? Before using AI, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, does this information belong to me or to someone else? If it's sensitive to personal or confidential, don't paste it. Think of AI like a public form helper, not a private safe. If you wouldn't write it on a form that others might see, don't paste it into AI. And yes, sometimes people use AI to help fill out applications or forms. In those cases, replace real details with placeholders. Use XXXX instead of real numbers. Use full name here instead of an actual name. Describe the situation, not the identity. That way, the AI understands the problem without you compromising the data. You can still get useful help without sharing what shouldn't be shared. That small habit makes a big difference. Now let's move to the second mistake. It often comes right after the first. Mistake number 2. Assuming AI chats are private or temporary. Many people think, I'll just delete the chat. It's only between me and the tool. It disappears when I close the window. But in reality, AI tools are software platforms. They process what you type. They may log activity. And they follow rules that aren't always visible to users. This doesn't mean someone is reading your chats. It means you shouldn't assume your input simply vanishes. That assumption creates false confidence. And false confidence leads to risky habits. Here's the better habit. Treat every AI conversation as if it could be saved. Not because it will be misused, but because you don't control what happens after you press send. If you wouldn't say it in a shared workspace, don't type it into AI. Keep conversations general. Focus on the question, not personal details. That mindset alone reduces a lot of unnecessary risk. Now let's move to the third mistake. This one usually happens without people realizing it. Mistake number 3. Using AI at work without knowing the rules. People use AI to summarize documents, write emails, analyze information, or speed up tasks. The problem isn't using AI. The problem is how it's used. Many people mix work information with personal AI accounts. Confidential details get pasted in, internal documents get summarized, and it often happens without approval or visibility. This is sometimes called shadow AI, not because people are trying to hide, but because it happens outside official processes. And when something goes wrong, intent matters less than impact. So what's the better practice here? Create clear separation. One AI account for personal use, and a separate account for work-related tasks. That simple boundary reduces a lot of risk. It keeps personal context out of work conversations, and it keeps work information out of personal spaces. Before using AI for work, pause and check the boundary. Ask yourself, is this allowed by my organization? If you're not sure, keep the task general. Use examples. Remove internal details. And when possible, Use approved tools and approved accounts for work-related tasks. Clear boundaries protect you as much as they protect the organization. If there's one thing to remember from this episode, it's this. Using AI isn't dangerous. Using it without awareness is. The good news is, awareness doesn't require technical skills. It starts with small habits. What you paste, what you assume, where you draw boundaries. Those choices matter. And once you see them, you don't need to fear AI. You can use it with confidence. In the next episode, we'll continue with the next 3 mistakes, including one that sounds helpful but quietly causes people to trust AI too much, and another that hides inside files you didn't even realize, contained sensitive information. Nothing dramatic, just practical things that make a real difference. I'll see you in the next episode. Before we close, let's take a moment to reflect on what we covered today. We talked about how small habits matter when using AI. We looked at 3 common mistakes: sharing sensitive information, assuming conversations disappear, and using AI at work without clear boundaries. None of these come from bad intent. They come from convenience, and awareness is what changes that. If this way of thinking has been helpful, a simple follow or subscription is one way to support this work. It tells me this is worth continuing. No pressure, just a quiet way to keep building this together. Thank you for being here.